Within OfferingTree, when you set up your staff accounts, you can also create pay rates that are connected to specific accounts. When you add a new pay rate, you'll notice that next to your setup, you have a pay simulator as well that will explain how that staff member will be paid. First is always to add a name to your pay rate. So for example, teacher, instructor, private rate, class rate, etc. Then you can also decide the currency that you'd like this to be paid out in. So you can choose any currency that works for you. And then you can add a base pay rate. This means that the staff member will be paid this amount regardless how many people show up. So even if there's 2 people or 22 people in the class, they'll get this minimum payment. The base pay per client is different because this is for every client from the first one till the top client. Let's say the minimum a staff member can get is $30. Now the simulator started calculating this, and you can also change the number of clients that are part of this. And you can see that at 12 clients, they minimum get $30. If I change this and I say I want per client to be paid $10, they will get $120 because they get $10 per client. So that is what they get. Now, if you still want to give them a base pay rate, and on top of that, you want to give them $10 per client, you could say that the minimum is still $30. This way, they get $150 because they get the base rate just for showing up and teaching. And then the pay per client, the more clients they have, the more they will get as well. So in this example, they would get $150 in total. There's also a little explanation underneath here. So a class with 10 clients starts at $130, $30 for the class plus $10 per client. You can also decide if this person gets paid for only those who are checked into the session, or even include late cancellations or no-shows in the calculations. We're going to use this. And you can also set up bonuses. So for example, if you have bigger classes and you want to say that over a certain number, they will get an extra bonus. So maybe instead of 10 per head after 15, they would get 12 per head. So the way you would do that is you add a range and you say an extra $2 from 15 to 20. You also get a warning that in this setup, the first bonus starts at number 15. So the first 14 clients will not earn any bonuses for this staff member. If you want to change this, you can also change this. But now you see here that we still have 12 clients. So if I move it over that 15, let's say 17, it will calculate this. So we have the base pay rate for $30. Then we have the $10 per client, which is $170 because we have 17 clients. And then the per client bonus between 15 to 20. So there are 3. So 15, 16, and 17 number of clients. That's an extra $6. So that way, this instructor or staff member would get $206 for this one class. If you want to add extra ranges, you can also do that here. And you can also create a flat attendance bonus. Let's say if they get 20 attendees, then they will get this amount on top regardless of any other setting. So we can add 1. When they are at 20, they get an extra $50. So this means at 17, they don't get anything. But if I move this over to 21, then they get the extra $50. So it becomes green here. You'll notice that again with the breakdown, they get the flat bonus. So now they get 302 because of all the extra calculations. You can also split the attendance by percentage. This could be really handy if you have workshops where other people host them and you say you do a 70-30 split or whatever ratio that would work for you. So you could say that you would share 70% of the revenue between 1 and 25. So now it will also calculate this. Now it will put it on top of this, but if you are running a workshop or some other type of event, you don't need to necessarily set these up. So you could delete these bonuses because your goal is just to share the revenue with your host or with your staff members. So you can delete all the other ones. So I don't need this for a normal teacher role. This is just for special occasions. And then you can also add a minimum per class, so they never earn less than this. It's really handy if you don't have the base pay rate calculated. If I remove this, they don't get the extra $30, but I want to put this in here because if just one person comes, this would just calculate that they get $10, but I don't want that for them. I want to make sure that they get at least $30. And the maximum pay per class is capping it at the top. This could be handy for online classes or classes with big numbers where you don't really want to go over $300, so you can add that cap as well. Now, this might not live right now, but if again, I move this a little bit further up, you notice that now it's capped. So they get no base rate, then $240 for the 24 clients, and then the extra $12 between the 15 to 20, and they get the extra $50 on top of that. And then the maximum pay applied. So we actually took away $2, and this way they got the $300 maximum. And if you're happy with these setups, you can save this pay rate. You can create multiple pay rates with different names and different setups. And that way you can attach this to your staff members' roles and staff account as well. Once you have this set up, you can choose your client's pay rate. So we have 2 teachers here, and we can apply that pay rate as well. At the moment, we have no staff pay rate chosen, but we can choose teacher, and then we can save. So when you are scheduling an event and you want to add your staff member, if we choose Claire, she has already a pay rate. So she has a default pay rate, which was the teacher. We can also change it manually to no pay rate, teacher, workshop rate, or create a new one. So hers would be obviously the teacher, which I believe was her default as well. And when you are setting up your appointment-based sessions as well, you can also override the staff pay there too. For this, you head over to editing your one-on-one appointment. Then you're going to look for your staff member. So this would be Alex. You can use the main schedule, and here beneath it, you can adjust the pay rate for each person who can run this type of session.